Hey there, so I wanted to post this video for you guys. It's a process video showing you how I made a birthday card for a friend of mine. So right now I'm just gathering all my supplies. I'm using some Draper James paper. That's a paper pad I found at Joann's before they went out of business. I believe Draper James is Reese Witherspoon's company, or company name, and I do know they did some craft stuff. So I think it's from there. And what basically I'm dealing with the fact right now is I'm pulling out supplies that my art glitter glue fine tip point is clogged, because if you don't put a stainless steel pin in there, it will clog. So, just keep your art supplies in good shape. Better than me, at least. Also pulling out my cutter pillar. It's one of my favorite paper cutters I have. It works really well, and I always get good cuts with it. Plus, I do like the way it measures. Right now, I'm just measuring my card to make sure I know what the size is, and I'm going to go ahead and cut down the papers for the card base. My friend is into lemons this year, and so she asked, I wanted to make her card with lemons on it, and she had also asked me a while ago for a strawberry shortcake card. So I went ahead and downloaded some images that I had from the internet and colored those in with Copic markers. I am a Copic alcohol marker girl. I've tried other mediums. I've tried regular markers. I've tried colored pencils, but I find Copics give me I feel like the most control and ability to really like make the things look really good with shading and everything. So some of the areas on these images were pretty tiny, so I didn't necessarily do as many shades of color as I would have necessarily on a bigger piece, but I did try to include at least 3 colors in the colorway per area. So, give it some depth and some shading and stuff like that. So now I'm going to start assembling the card. I do have some vintage trim I'm going to use. I also have some, bow die cuts that I got from Hobby Lobby. They're Paper Studio, and definitely wait till they go on sale if you're interested in them. There's quite a few in the bag, and they're all different sizes and colors, which is fun. But obviously Hobby Lobby does their sales, on alternating weeks. So if you're interested in getting it, just wait till the Paper Studio stuff is 40% off. So I'm going to go ahead and do layers on the front of the card with these 2 different papers. Like I said, she's really into lemons, so I found the lemon gingham, or the yellow gingham, and the lemon patterned paper to use on the card base. It's a regular card base, like 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it's actually a little smaller than I normally like. I normally like to work in 5 by 7 cards, but this is one that I just pulled out of my stash. So I'm going to end up putting the little familiars of the 2 characters. So Strawberry Shortcake has a little cat that she has as a sidekick. And then the Lemon Meringue character has a frog. So I'm going to end up putting those characters on the inside of the card, just because the front of the card I think is a little full with the 2 other characters because of the size they are. I didn't want to make them too small because I didn't want them to be too hard to color. I'm going to use pop dots too on them because I really like adding pop dots, especially to the front of a card, to give it some more depth and dimension. I am also adding this trim that I mentioned. This is some vintage trim I got at an estate sale. It's really fun. It's got the sewn edges on there. It's really nice. So I was excited that I could use it, and it really matched everything super well. Yeah. So just trimming. I'm definitely a measure once, cut twice, and oops kind of person, so I have to be careful about that. So right now I'm just adding pop dots to these guys. I have many pop dots in my stash, so luckily I had small enough ones that would fit on the back of them, and we're going to add those to that. The worst part about pop dots, of course, is taking off each of the little pieces, sticky pieces, pieces to get off the stick at the back. If this was a card that I was going to sell at a market or something, I probably also would put a little bit of glue on the back of each of the pop dots as well, just for added and extra, security. But for these, I felt like it would work fine without. I also like to use as many scraps as possible, so I do often use the scraps from the pieces that I used on the outside of the card for the inside of the card to, again, add more dimension and interest to the inside. So these are just pieces that I cut off the other pieces earlier. And then there are the 2 little familiars. I know they're a little hard to see. They're pretty small. Again, adding pop dots to them as well to give them a little bit more dimension, and putting them there towards the bottom of the card so that they're just in there. I could have done it so they were sitting on top of the little lemon piece down there, but I kind of wanted them to sit inside of that. So they're kind of right at the top of it there. You can see the little froggy. I'm also going to add another piece of some of the scrap from the outside of the card to the middle to put my sentiment on as well. So I think the hardest part about making a card, honestly, is the sentiment. I'm not a big fan of doing just regular sentiments or like the expected sentiment, especially because you can honestly just write happy birthday in a card. So I like to add something kind of cool and different. These are the bows I mentioned. So they had, like I said, they had some really good colors in here. This green color, and then they had the yellow color, which really matched very well. So adding one there, and then I'm also going to add one to the front. Basically what I did was I took the two yellow bows, because there were two of the same, and I actually popped dotted it. So I kind of made my own 3D dimensional like embellishment, and then just glued the back, the bottom one to the card so that it was flat to the card, but still gave it some dimension. You can see the popped out a little bit around the bow. It was a little bit too big for the middle, but again, since it was going to a friend, I wasn't like super stressed about it. This is one of my photo keepers. I keep a lot of my colored images in these. And then I also have one. These are all sentiments actually in this one, and some scraps as well. So I try to split them and organize them based on like subject. When I pulled this one out in this video, I realized it was the one that actually has a lot of my Disney sentiments in it, or like magic sentiments. So I realized pretty quickly that it's probably not the right one. So I went ahead and just found another one, which had a little bit more encouraging sentiments in it and kind of like happy sentiments in it. I have at least 3 of those little like 4x6 containers that have Christmas sentiments in them, because I stamp so many Christmas sentiments. So I do stamp sentiments from stamp sets. I don't always use the sentiment with the coordinating stamp set. Again, I'm not a big fan on things that are like super matchy or like really following a convention, I guess. I'm just, if you tell me it all goes together, I'm going to tell you that it doesn't and figure out a way to make it not go together. So so right now, I'm just looking for a sentiment that I really like. I like that one. It says hashtag WTF on it. There's some really fun ones in here. Some of these I've had for years and just haven't used them yet because I've just cut out too many. I also haven't made a lot of cards recently. I used to make a lot of cards and sell them at markets, and I don't really do that anymore. But I do love making cards, and I actually do need to make some more because my stash is really low at the moment. I used to have a ton kind of stashed, and I don't, especially Christmas, which I need some more Christmas cards. So I'm just looking through all these right now, just trying to figure out what the best one is. I didn't want it to be too sappy. I didn't want it to be too what's the word I want? Like flip. I want it to be a good one, So just looking for one that I'm gonna like. I don't honestly remember the one I settled on. I made this card a few weeks ago, and I wanted to post the video pretty much right away, but then I realized that wouldn't really be fair since I needed to send my friend her present and she needed to open it first. So I figured, I should wait till that happened. So that has happened now, and so I can post the video. But we're just looking for a sentiment, and then we're going to put the sentiment on the inside, and that's pretty much going to be the card, which is awesome. So with this card, only took me about 15-20 minutes to put together, I think, even with recording. So obviously it took me probably, I think, maybe 40 minutes to an hour to color the characters the night before. I had already cut them out, so they were already cut out. I will fussy cut things, especially if it's just a couple things. I do have a brother scan and cut, and so I will use that to also fussy cut. If I'm fussy cutting a lot at once, like if I have a lot of things to die cut, a lot of stamps to die cut and stuff like that, I will use it for that for sure. But if it's just a couple and I'm just doing it for something, I think I ended up on a sentiment that said, "You are amazing." I think that was the sentiment I ended up on. And then I wrote happy birthday underneath that and signed my name, and then wrote her a note, obviously, in the top of the card. So we're not going to